My name is Song Maeve, and I am 26. 3 years ago, a car accident robbed me of my fertility, seemingly fueling my husband's dislike for me. Now, he has brought back his first love, who is pregnant, and I can only silently endure the gift of moving out of the master bedroom, fanning her, and even washing her underwear. I once thought that obedience could repay my debt, but I no longer have the energy to continue in this game he is dictating. The canary Gu Marcos kept outside got pregnant, so he brought home Shen Luna, whose belly was still flat, and started bossing me around. Luna's in poor health and can't sleep in the small room. You move out of the master bedroom. It's too hot and she's pregnant. She can't use the AC, you fan her at night. I didn't ask much, just nodded and agreed. Both he and I knew the truth. In a car accident, 3 years ago, I injured my body while saving my childhood friend Chi Zane, and I've been unable to get pregnant since. In these 3 years, women came and went by his side. Now he finally had one he could bring home, and since she was pregnant, it was bound to last. What I owed him, it was time to pay it back. Uncle, I'm willing to take over the overseas branch. Please book me a flight abroad for early next month. Sis, Marcos won't let me touch water. Could you please help me wash my underwear? I'm worried the maid's rough hands might ruin them. Shen Luna smiled sweetly and handed me her lacy panties, looking completely harmless. My hand trembled as I took them, then quietly went to wash them. Marcos' sis is really nice. Once I give birth, I'll feel more at ease with her, and the maternity nurse taking care of me. Shen Luna turned and clung sweetly to Gu Marcos's arm. Gu Marcos's gaze on me was like poisoned steel, lingering coldly for a while before finally shifting away. I know, he can't stand me. Ever since that car accident 3 years ago, he has hated me to the core. For the past 3 years, I've done whatever he wanted, just because I truly feel guilty toward him. After washing the underwear, Gu Marcos called me again. Throw away all the condoms in the nightstand, go buy new ones and replace them. Luna finds them gross. I immediately looked up and seriously explained. You can't do it in the first 3 months of pregnancy. Gotta be careful. Are you cursing her to miscarry, Song Maeve? You are still as vicious as ever. I shut up right away and rushed out to buy condoms. When I got back, G. Marcos was already gone. He'd left for the company. Shen Luna was lounging casually on the sofa, eating fruit, looking at me with a nonchalant gaze. Sis, I'm kinda craving something. I wanna drink some pork rib soup. Can you make some for me? I dashed straight to the kitchen. It's been 3 years, and Gu Marcos finally brought home a woman like this. I need to take good care of her and the baby in her belly so I can leave here with peace of mind. 2 hours of slow simmering, and the soup came out sizzling fresh. I ladled a small bowl and handed it to Shen Luna. Shen Luna looked into my eyes. The corners of her pretty lips curled up, and without any warning, she raised her hand and knocked the bowl out of my hands. Scalding soup splashed on my hand, and in an instant, a huge blister formed. A bone-deep pain surged over me, leaving me dazed for a moment. Sis, I am so sorry. I didn't mean to burn you. Shen Luna panicked, quickly got up, and grabbed my scalded hand like she was apologizing. Her hand touched mine, and the searing sensation instantly exploded into pain 1,000 times worse. Shen Luna pulled her hand back and gave a playful smile. Oops, sorry sis, I just snacked on some spicy sticks. I took a cab to the hospital. Both hands were already swollen like pig trotters, and after the doctor treated and bandaged them, they looked even puffier. Gu Marcos called and immediately started scolding. What the hell did you do to scare Luna like that? She cried all afternoon. Don't you know a pregnant woman can't be emotionally stressed? Those words felt so familiar, and for a second, I saw us back when Gu Marcos and I had just gotten married. He used to be so cautious with me too. When I cried watching a drama, he thought someone bullied me and blew up with rage instantly. I looked at my swollen hands and gave a bitter smile. There was a time when I was pampered enough that I never had to lift a finger. But now, I'm no longer that person to him. I raised an eyebrow. Sorry, I'll go back and apologize to her right away. When I got home, Shen Luna really had swollen eyes from crying, like goose eggs. She immediately threw herself at me sweetly, grabbing my hand. Sis, are you okay? It's all my fault for being careless. Seeing you like this makes me so sad. From an angle where Gu Marcos couldn't see, she was squeezing my hand so hard it hurt like hell, almost went numb. I forced a smile and said, "It's nothing, don't be sad. It's my fault. I shouldn't have gotten hurt and made you worry." I was already this submissive, this patient and tolerant. Yet Gu Marcos still looked at me with even more anger in his eyes. Luna wants to soak her feet. Go get her some foot bath water, Gu Marcos said coldly. Theo, let's not, okay? Sis's hand is already like that. If word gets out, people will think I'm bullying her on purpose. It's fine, she's perfectly healthy. Gu Marcos shot me a cold glance. I immediately rushed to get the water. Anyway, to Gu Marcos, my hands were useless by now. But what Shen Luna had in her belly was a life, after all. Even while soaking her feet, Shen Luna had to snuggle in Gu Marcos's arms. The two of them watched funny videos on the phone, glued tightly together. I stood to the side, watching this warm and cozy scene, feeling a bit dazed. Gu Marcos and I had been married 5 years. The first 2 years, we were just as in love. What are you standing there for? Go get some water. Gu Marcos's voice snapped me out of my thoughts. After I got the water, Gu Marcos blocked me downstairs. He reached out and pinched my chin, forcing me to look into his eyes. His eyes were deep, and under the moonlight, they seemed even colder. Song Maeve, you're such a bitch. You brought this on yourself. I am warning you. I did all this. Don't you dare get any ideas about Chu Bai. She's not like you, she's really innocent. I raised an eyebrow, expression calm. I know. Unexpectedly, Gu Marcos got even angrier. Do you have no spine? You just do whatever I tell you? I owe you, so I should. Song Maeve. The fury in Gu Marcos's eyes was practically about to explode. He just stared at me like that. The air felt incredibly eerie. Fine then, tonight you stay by the door. Once we're done, wash the bedsheets. My lashes trembled slightly. I watched his cold back, said nothing, and followed quietly. At the bedroom door, I stood against the wall. The moonlight was faint, just barely casting a thin layer on the floor. Me arms still burned with pain, and all I could hear was their moaning and gasping echoing in my ears. The noise was so loud, even the wall seemed to be shaking with them. I counted numbers in my head, standing there for hours until my legs went numb. Shen Luna's voice had gone hoarse, when suddenly the room door was opened from the inside. Gu Marcos was holding Shen Luna in his arms, giving me a cold look. Come in and clean this up. He turned and went to the bathroom to shower. I looked at the bedsheet covered in marks, a wave of bitterness welling up inside me, and took it to wash as Gu Marcos had ordered. While washing the sheets, I silently prayed the whole time. After all that rough tossing around, please let the baby be okay. Sis, Theo's really busy today. Come with me to the hospital for my prenatal checkup. Early in the morning, Shen Luna swayed in front of me with a sweet smile. I looked at her face, sweet enough to rot teeth, and just couldn't say no. I said, "Okay, On the way, Shenluna kept pretending to be all chummy, chatting about all sorts of random stuff. Sis, last night Theo promised me he'd be gentler, but once we started, he just couldn't hold back and got rough again. Was he like that with you too? My face turned beet red. I couldn't say a word. I could even see the driver's ears turning red. But Shenluna didn't seem to notice at all and kept asking me. Sis, Theo told me, you used to have a childhood sweetheart who died in a car accident. Is that true? My body suddenly froze, and all the blood in me seemed to flow backward in an instant. Sis, you really should let it go. He is dead now, you should move on. Learn to soften up, say some nice things to Theo. He said he loves it the most when I act all cute in bed. Shenluna kept rambling on, but I couldn't take in a single word. Me mind was a mess, and pain buried deep in my memory surged over me like a tidal wave. 3 years ago, Chi Zane was driving me home when we got into a car accident. I got badly injured trying to save him, but in the end, Chi Zane still died. There was so much blood that day. Chi Zane's blood, my blood, and the blood from the baby inside me. All mixed together, sticky and slimy. I felt like the world was spinning, and a wave of nausea surged from my stomach. That day, I lay on the hospital bed pale as death, and Gu Marcos stormed in and confronted me. Song Maeve, do you love him that much? Would you really rather die for him? He said, you killed our baby. Do you even realize that? You killed our child for that man. I knew, because the doctor told me, I could never have children again. Sis, if the person in the car that day had been Theo, would you have saved him too? Yes, I didn't hesitate at all. What if it were me? Shenluna was still smiling cheerfully, but there was something in her eyes I couldn't quite figure out. I stared into her eyes and suddenly had a bad feeling. The next second, the car that had been driving steadily on the road suddenly seemed to lose control and sped straight toward the oncoming car on the other side. Everything went black before my eyes, and my brain completely short-circuited. When I opened my eyes again, I was lying on a hospital bed. Gu Marcos was standing nearby, staring at me with That bad feeling hit me again instantly. What happened? I asked. Song Maeve, you killed my 2 kids. My thoughts flashed back to before I passed out. There was a car accident on the way to the hospital for a prenatal checkup. Shenluna, I asked tentatively. Gu Marcos stepped forward, grabbed my neck, and shouted angrily. You made her miscarry, Song Maeve. Didn't you say back then that you'd repay me even if it meant being a slave in this life? Is this your way of repaying me? Killing another one of my kids? My hands trembled uncontrollably, and I shook my head instinctively. It's not like that. I didn't mean to hurt her. Then why didn't you save her, just like you saved Chi Zane 3 years ago? I fainted. Excuses. Gu Marcos turned and stormed out. I sat blankly on the hospital bed, dazed for a long while. This car accident was way too bizarre, no warning, just so sudden. It was like it had all been planned in advance. The doctor said there's nothing seriously wrong with me. I can be discharged this afternoon. Shenluna is just in the next room. I originally wanted to check on her, but to my surprise, the moment I stood at the door, she started screaming like crazy. Song Maeve, you killed my baby. You're a murderer. Song Maeve, you deserve to die. Her words gave me an uncontrollable shiver. Gu Marcos came over and slapped me hard across the face. He said coldly, What are you doing here, Luna? Can't handle any shock right now. Get out. I raised an eyebrow, wanted to say something but held back, then turned and left. Yeah, Gu Marcos probably hates me to death right now. Me showing up near him will only make him more annoyed. Anyway, just a few more days, and I'll be out of here. I won't bother him ever again. But there was a terrifying thought weighing on my mind. I rushed to the doctor to ask about Shen Luna's condition. The doctor said, "It was just a miscarriage, her body's fine, and it won't affect future pregnancies." That's good. I felt relieved. At least she won't end up like me. She'll still have a chance to give Marcos a child. I went back home and started packing my stuff. Honestly, I barely had anything to begin with, and I had already moved out of the master bedroom. The things I didn't get a chance to move out earlier were all thrown away by Shen Luna's orders to the maids. Even after packing everything up, it only filled one suitcase. Just thinking about starting a new life across the ocean made my heart stir with a bit of excitement. Shen Luna was in the hospital for a week, and Marcos stayed there with her the whole time. The day she was discharged, I hid in my tiny room and didn't come out. I was scared she'd see me losing control of my emotions. Just a few more days. I'd hold on until then. Song Maeve, what the hell are you up to again? Marcos pushed open the door, and when he saw the spotless room like no one had lived there, his brows twitched involuntarily. I quickly explained. Nothing. I was just clearing out the bad luck and getting rid of old stuff. You better be. Right then, a blood-curdling scream from Shen Luna suddenly echoed in my ears. Theo Tripolikalaka, what is this? Her voice rang through the entire villa. I couldn't help but come out of the room to see what was going on. But as I got downstairs, I was completely stunned. The suitcase I had placed in the small bedroom had been dragged out by her. To my surprise, all the clothes and luggage I had packed were gone. In their place sat a memorial tablet and an old-fashioned urn. I froze. Marcos strode over, picked up the tablet, and after just one glance, looked at me with uncontrollable rage. Song Maeve, you are fucking insane. Shen Luna seemed to lose it too, collapsing into Marcos's arms and crying even louder. Theo, it's so scary. It's really terrifying. Who would keep something like this at home? Why would Sis do this? I was wondering how everything was fine, and then suddenly a car crash, a miscarriage. There's something unclean in the house that harmed my baby. I dazedly walked forward and took the tablet from Marcos's hand. The name Chizane was written on it. Me mind exploded with a loud boom. How is that possible, Song Maeve? I really underestimated you. Marcos pointed at me with a trembling finger, and after a long pause, only managed to squeeze out that sentence. I shook my head. It wasn't me. Wasn't you then? Tell me. Who else in this house would do something like this, Chizane? Ha, you really were crazy about him, huh? Even hiding his ashes, Song Maeve, you seriously disgust me. I looked at the urn on the floor, my throat tightening, unable to say a word for a moment. Marcos hurried over and picked up the urn from the ground, opening it. Inside, it was actually real ashes. I was dumbfounded too. Marcos shouted harshly. Since you love collecting so much, then take it and make soup with it. Song Maeve, I want you to eat every last drop. Maybe with such sincerity, you and Chizane can be lovers in the next life. The servant actually went and made the soup. I was pinned to the dining table by Shen Luna and forced to drink 2 full bowls of soup. After finishing it, I started having unbearable stomach pain. I lay in bed, just clutching my stomach, tears streaming non-stop. I told myself, just hold on a little longer. Just a little longer and I'll be gone. Marcos kicked the door open, glanced at me curled up in bed, and said coldly, Go to the hospital. Who are you pretending for? I didn't respond. Marcos snapped. I'll take you to the hospital, if you actually die. Wouldn't that just give you and Chizane what you want? with tears blurring my vision. I was carried downstairs by Gu Marcos. During my hospital stay, Gu Marcos didn't show up again. I saw on his moments that he went on a relaxing trip with Shen Luna. In the intimate photos of the two, it had been ages since Gu Marcos smiled that happily. Good for him, at least now, he has someone by his side. So, Gu Marcos, this time I'm really leaving. At the airport, I deleted my WeChat account, snapped my SIM card, and tossed it in the trash. Finally, I silently made a wish in my heart toward the direction where Gu Marcos was. Sorry, Gu Marcos. I brought you so many unpleasant memories. So starting today, I'm leaving. I hope everything goes well for you in the rest of your life. Has Song Maeve been discharged from the hospital? Gu Marcos was on the phone, standing in front of the office window. Mr. Gu, ma'am, was discharged several days ago. Several days ago? Gu Marcos immediately frowned. He hung up the phone, and for some reason, felt a bad premonition. His brow throbbed with a dull pulse. Just then, someone knocked on the door outside. Come in, the office door opened, and Shen Luna walked in gracefully with a lunchbox in her hand. Theo, I made you lunch and brought it over. You are working too hard. Please take care of yourself. Gu Marcos looked grim. Did Song Maeve go home? Isn't she still in the hospital? Gu Marcos rubbed his temples. The doctor said she was discharged ages ago. Then, what does that mean? Shen Luna cautiously watched Gu Marcos's expression. A wave of unease hit Gu Marcos. After thinking for a moment, he said in a deep voice, You should go back, pack your things, and move out. Shen Luna's face went pale in an instant. Theo, what do you mean by that? Gu Marcos irritably opened the drawer, pulled out 2 stacks of cash, and threw them at Shen Luna. This is what I promised you. Don't forget, we're just acting. Leave now, and I'll contact you when I need you again. Shen Luna hesitated, then stuffed the money into her bag. After Shen Luna left, Gu Marcos stood up in frustration, staring out the window, feeling even more uneasy. He took out his phone. These past few days, Song Maeve hadn't sent a single message, not even one call. Even though she was always so quiet, so obedient, Gu Marcos still felt something was off. She got discharged from the hospital but didn't come home. So where else could she be? Song Maeve didn't have many relatives in this city. He was just sick of Song Maeve always being so compliant with him, like a soulless puppet on strings. He knew Song Maeve didn't love him. He knew she always had Chi Zane in her heart. But he was just agitated, just unwilling to accept it. He kept bringing different women into the act, trying to provoke Song Maeve. These past 3 years, all he wanted was to see a little defiance on her face. To see even the tiniest hint of jealousy, to make him feel like maybe she cared about him a little. But even when the women he brought home got pregnant, she was still willing to do anything for him without complaint. Gu Marcos was about to lose his mind. After hesitating for a while, Gu Marcos still took out his phone and called Song Maeve. Sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service. Please check the number and try again. Not in service. How is that possible? Gu Marcos checked the number several times, confirming it was correct. He knew Song Maeve's number by heart. How could he possibly get it wrong? But when he called, it still said the number was not in service. In an instant, Gu Marcos felt like someone had gouged a bloody hole in his heart. It hurt so much he couldn't breathe. He opened WeChat and sent a message to Song Maeve. Where did you go? Right after hitting send, a notification popped up, a red exclamation mark. The user has cancelled their account. Please add them as a friend to send messages. Gu Marcos almost thought he was seeing things. He looked closely and confirmed it was real. Once it hit him. he smashed his phone. Find out where Song Maeve went. I don't care if you have to dig 3 feet into the ground. Bring her back to me. The assistant had never seen Gu Marcos this furious before, shivering all over. He immediately agreed and ran out to look for her. Back at home, Gu Marcos's temples were pounding non-stop. That's when he noticed there wasn't a single thing of Song Maeve's left in the house. He asked all the servants, and every friend or relative who knew Song Maeve, but didn't get a single useful clue. Not one person knew where Song Maeve had gone. Gu Marcos's heart gradually went cold, and he was extremely agitated. "Sir, there's something. I'm not sure if I should say it." Aunt Wu, the maid, stood in front of Gu Marcos, a bit timid and hesitant. Gu Marcos immediately sensed something was wrong. "What is it? Just say it." "A few days ago, the day Madam went to the hospital, I saw Miss Shen sneaking around the bedroom on the first floor and secretly throwing something out. I didn't mean anything by it. I just followed her and found that Miss Shen threw away all the clothes Madam had packed in her suitcase." Gu Marcos furrowed his brows deeply and asked, "What do you mean by that?" Aunt Wu lowered her head even more. That stuff in the suitcase wasn't put there by Madam. I saw her packing before." "You mean the memorial tablet and the ashes, yes?" Gu Marcos's heart sank with a thump. He instinctively clutched his chest, feeling like something was about to burst out of his mind. "All right, I got it. You can go back to your work." Gu Marcos sat on the couch and called his assistant. "Pull up the surveillance footage from the past few days at the villa for me." "Got it, Mr. Gu." After watching the footage, Gu Marcos's face was as dark as water. He clenched his fists in fury, but still couldn't stop trembling. "Theo, I heard Maeve hasn't come back yet. I am a little worried, so I came over to ask if there is anything I can help with." Shen Luna showed up uninvited. She looked at Gu Marcos with a fawning expression, every look on her face meticulously designed. Gu Marcos just stared coldly at her and said in a deep voice, "Perfect, I was looking for you." Shen Luna immediately looked pleasantly surprised. "Tell me, what is it? What exactly happened with the car accident that day?" The smile on Shen Luna's face gradually faded. She looked nervously at Gu Marcos in front of her, not expecting him to suddenly bring that up. She clenched her fists, carefully chose her words in her head, and cautiously said, I don't know either. Maybe it was the driver." Gu Marcos cut her off directly. "Shen Luna, I gave you a chance. You better make good use of it. If I find out you hid anything from me on your own, you know the consequences." "Mr. Gu, I didn't." "Better not." "Then explain. What's the deal with the memorial tablet and the ashes? Why frame Song Maeve?" Shen Luna's face turned deathly pale in an instant. Her lips started trembling even harder. I didn't." Still denying it. "I already saw the surveillance footage." Gu Marcos roared in fury. Shen Luna immediately said with grievance, "I am sorry, Mr. Gu. I didn't mean anything else. Didn't you want me to act with your wife? Didn't you want her to get mad? I didn't talk to you about it first." "Shen Luna, you are being way too presumptuous. I said I wanted you to piss off Song Maeve, not hurt her. Let me ask you one last time. Did you have anything to do with the car accident? You know what is coming if I find out something. It won't be this simple then." Gu Marcos's expression was downright terrifying. Shen Luna lowered her head, torn and hesitant. Seeing her like that, Gu Marcos had already guessed most of it. He stood up furiously. Shen Luna immediately clung to Gu Marcos's leg, pleading in a low voice. "Theo, I didn't mean anything else. I just wanted to help you. Honestly, I've already fallen for you a long time ago. But you You only ever see Song Maeve in your eyes. To provoke her, you acted with me in bed, but you don't understand. I really like you. Gumarcos's face turned even darker, and he shoved Shen Luna away harshly. His expression was icy as he said, Shen Luna, I've seen this trick too many times. I warned you before. Don't play games, but you just wouldn't listen. He turned to the servant and said, Bring hot water. Shen Luna's face instantly froze. Gumarcos took the hot water from the servant, and without mercy, poured it directly onto her. Shen Luna was in so much pain, she started rolling on the floor. Her once delicate skin was now completely burned. Gumarcos said coldly, Everything you did to Song Maeve will come back to you 1,000-fold. Get out. I don't want to see you again. Shen Luna was dragged out and thrown away. Gumarcos went back upstairs to the bedroom where Song Maeve had stayed. For some reason, it felt like her scent still faintly lingered in the air. He sniffed hard twice, but it seemed like he couldn't smell anything. Gumarcos lay down on the bed, hugged the pillow Song Maeve had slept on, and silent tears slid down his face. Song Maeve, are you really this heartless? Is Chi Zane really the only one your heart has room for? Chi family. Gumarcos waited with his people at the door for a long time, but no one opened it. What's going on? Send someone to check. Mr. Gu. We found out that a neighbor said Chi Zane's mom mentioned going abroad last month, and no one's seen her come or go since. Abroad? Gumarcos frowned tightly, his chest heavy like a mountain was pressing down on it. Go find them for me. Even if you have to search the whole world, I want them found. When Song Maeve was born, her mother died from complications during childbirth. She and Chi Zane were neighbors. Her dad had always been busy with work when she was little and didn't have time to take care of her. So she basically grew up in the Chi family. After Gumarcos married her, everything was normal. Until one time, they went to the Chai family for dinner, and Gumarcos accidentally discovered that Chi Zane's room was full of photos of Song Maeve, from all angles. In all kinds of settings. It was obvious they were mostly taken in secret, although Song Maeve looked beautiful in the photos. Gumarcos just couldn't accept it. He's a man. He instantly understood the kind of feelings Chi Zane had for Song Maeve buried deep in his heart. He told Song Maeve not to go back to the Chi family unless necessary, and also asked her to cut ties with Chi Zane. But she still secretly contacted Chi Zane behind his back. The two of them even got into a car accident together. Gumarcos really couldn't understand. She was 5 months pregnant, yet she still risked her life to save Chi Zane. To her, did he and their baby still matter less than Chi Zane? For the past 3 years, every night Gumarcos lay in bed, closed his eyes, and all he could see was the horrific scene from that day playing over and over. He couldn't get over it. He really couldn't. He tried countless times to tell himself to let go. But every time he saw Song Maeve's innocent face, he just couldn't harden his heart. He hated Song Maeve, but most of all, he hated himself. He loved Song Maeve too much, loved her so much that even though he knew her heart held another man, he still couldn't let her go. Miss Chi Zane's mother is working as a maid in a small town in France. Following her trail, we found the madam. The assistant handed the information they found to Gumarcos. When he saw Song Maeve's face, one he hadn't seen in ages, his heart still skipped a harsh beat. Book a ticket now, the fastest flight to France. Yes, Mr. Gu. These days in France, I've been keeping myself really busy. The new company's business is totally unfamiliar. Besides working every day, I also have to spend a ton of time studying. But being busy helps dull the sadness. Though when I slow down, I still think of him. And when I do, the pain in my chest makes it hard to breathe. But I keep telling myself over and over again that everything will get better. As long as I push through, everything will eventually fall into place. Until that day after class, when I saw Giu Marcos downstairs, and I completely froze, not reacting. He just stared at me, walked past the crowd, and came right up to me. He looked at me through gritted teeth, clearly furious. "Song Maeve, you've really outdone yourself. Gu Marcos, let's get a divorce." I let out a soft breath and slowly said the words. Before, I was too cowardly, just wanted to run. Just wanted to escape that suffocating environment. I never thought about facing the problems between us head on. Some problems are like a giant mountain, standing right in front of us. If we don't solve them, they'll always be there. "Divorce, Song Maeve, you are dreaming, aren't you?" Gu Marcos sneered. I looked at him, confused. "Don't you hate me? Then why not get a divorce?" In that moment, Gu Marcos's eyes were incredibly complicated as he looked at me. The noise around us was deafening, but my world was dead silent. I just stared at him. Neither of us said a word. Finally, Giu Marcos's eyes turned red as he said, word by word, "Song Maeve, I give up. You're really something else." "What do you mean?" I genuinely didn't get it. "Song Maeve, I admit it. You're badass. I'm done fighting with you. Come back with me." He stepped forward to grab me. I instinctively dodged. Gu Marcos raised his eyebrows, a faint trace of sadness flickering in his expression. I gave a light cough and said, "Gu Marcos, I looked into it later. That car accident was your canary's doing. It wasn't me who hurt your kid. And the ashes, that wasn't me either. So, I don't owe you anything. Whatever I did owe you, I've paid it back." Gu Marcos didn't say a word, just kept staring at me like that. I went on. "Shenluna's actually pretty nice, just a bit spoiled. Let's get divorced. With a bit of security, she'll probably calm down. I hope you two are happy." "Song Maeve," Gu Marcos shouted angrily. "I don't have that kind of relationship with her. She's someone I hired to act, acting for you to see. I wanted to see you get jealous. I wanted to see you go crazy. I admit defeat now. Come back with me. I won't act like that again. During the time you weren't here, I thought a lot. I can accept you not loving me, but I can't accept you not being by my side." At this moment, Gu Marcos' eyes were red, looking extremely pained. I suddenly felt a bit of sympathy for him and couldn't help but reach out to ruffle his messy hair. I let out a light laugh and said, "I don't love you, Song Maeve. I don't care. I don't care if you like Chizane or anyone else. As long as you can stay by my side, I still have a chance. I regret it now. Chizane is already dead. What am I even competing for with a dead man? Come back with me, okay? I apologize to you. I promise I won't treat you like that again in the future. Song Maeve, forgive me. I just love you too much." I looked at the man in front of me, confused. Gu Marcos must be too tired, so his words were all over the place. But my eyes couldn't help but moisten. Looking at the nearly insane Gu Marcos in front of me, I still couldn't help but soften. I sighed lightly and said, "I'll take you to a place." I took Gu Marcos to Chizane's grave. Chizane's mom came to France and didn't want him to be alone. So she moved his grave here too. I placed a big bouquet of sunflowers in front of his grave. I looked at the photo of him when he was young on the headstone, pulled at the corner of my mouth and said, "Gu Marcos, actually the car accident 3 years ago, it was me driving." Gu Marcos looked at me confused. The mountain road was really tough to drive that day. Thick fog everywhere. I spaced out for a bit and the car went off the road. Actually, I passed out first, and when I came to, I was lying on the roadside. Zane barely hanging on next to me. He was the one who saved me. I was covered in blood, the baby was already gone. He said sorry to me, that he couldn't save the baby. In that situation, how could I just leave him there? My phone was broken. There was no one on the road. I carried him all night until we reached the main road and someone rescued us. He was already gone. I was really devastated. Qinghuan. I lifted my eyes to look into the distance and said, "You know, back then my dad had leukemia, and his bone marrow match came through. That day, I was driving him to get the transplant. But he died. I couldn't save him, couldn't save my dad. I even killed our baby. I was really, really sad. But Marcos, from beginning to end, the only person I've ever loved in this life is you, whether you believe it or not." Marcos looked completely dazed, staring at me in disbelief, unable to form a complete sentence for a long while. I lifted the corners of my lips, feeling like the weight in my heart had dropped. Yet at the same time, not real. Marcos, these past 3 years have truly been painful for me. I really did let you all down. I harmed our child, and now I can't get pregnant again. You have every right to hate me. Your life shouldn't be dragged down by me. So Marcos, I genuinely hope you can find a better wife than me. Marcos gripped my shoulders tightly and pulled me into his arms. He said, "Song Maeve, why didn't you tell me any of this? You've been hurting inside for so long. Why didn't you say something to me? Because I'd rather have you hate me than keep you from being happy." Marcos, our fate has run its course. Let's just get a divorce. With that, I turned around and left. Marcos stood there, staring at my back and shouted, "What if I don't want to, Song Maeve? I don't want to. I told you. You're the one I love for life. I don't care if you love me or not. I don't care what choice you make. I'm never giving up on you, Song Maeve. I'm not divorcing you." The wind carried his words to my ears. My tears silently slid down my cheeks. I couldn't even say what I was feeling. All I knew was the pain in my heart just kept getting worse. I walked away without even looking back. I've already decided to leave. It is just a divorce certificate. What traps us is our life, not our hearts. I hope Marcos can be happy, even if the one by his side isn't me. 3 years later, my uncle passed away, and I returned home for his funeral. At the funeral, Marcos was dressed in black, accompanied by a beautiful woman. I only glanced once, and hot tears rolled down instantly. A familiar friend told me to stay strong, and I just nodded silently. My tears were too hot, so hot I could barely open my eyes. "Song Maeve, it's been 3 years, you finally came back." I tried to calm down, looked up with the perfect smile, and said to him, "Congratulations." He just smiled at me, held his companion's hand tighter, and said, "I hope you find your own happiness soon too." I looked at the couple standing side by side, and my eyes burned again and again. Me wish was finally fulfilled. I knew it. As long as I held on, Marcos would eventually find his happiness. The funeral ended. In the SUV, Marcos handed the woman a wad of cash. His eyes were desolate. "Thanks for your performance today." "You are welcome, Mr. Gu. If you ever need me again, just call. Oh, and if you want to turn fake into real, I am game too." The woman blew Marcos a kiss. Marcos remained expressionless. He turned to look out the window. Not far away, Song Maeve stood in front of the graveyard, full of loneliness and solitude. Since she wanted him to be happy, then he would just pretend to be happy for her.